Oh, you three look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to?
I'm glad you asked, Elise. I'm pretty sure you're going to like the answer.
You're joking. The Mad King's trove. I thought it was a myth.
So did plenty of people, but they didn't have Feywind and Alphino in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it all, I vote that it goes towards alleviating the suffering of Alamigo's poor.
Gods, if there's as much as you say.
Our involved did not exaggerate, I assure you. We cannot hope to carry even a fraction of it on our own. I've taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you assemble a squad of the most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the rich treasure lies.
Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that goes for the spending of it as well.
Thank you. Oh, there's just one other thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask you to consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details, I'm not educated. I see as simply handing out sacks of gil won't solve everything, but I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead.
Oh, I know the feeling. I welcome any advice you'd give us, Alphino.
Of course, I should be at your disposal.
Commander, we've got a problem.
Deep breaths. Tell me what's happened.
The mob's gathered outside headquarters. They start making demands. You best come and see for yourself.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on? Someone let slip about Fedora.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Butcher the... Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down! Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye! And my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Alamigo.
Hey, who's this?
That's the Bull of Alamigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair. For it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast. It is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted. The ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance, but we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Alamigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Alamigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do, but I can't.
My thanks, Raban. Listening to their anger, I could feel myself being swept away.
'Tis a difficult tide to stem. 'Twas that same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory. But now the war is over. All the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance.
Aye, it's not just here. We report some mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Garleans. It starts with insults most often, then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls have even thought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. I want to build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. But maybe the time isn't right. Maybe people just aren't ready. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to try. The representatives will be here soon, and I'll be damned if I'm going to give up before I've even begun.
Who are these representatives exactly?
Oh, village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. It wouldn't be right for us to dictate the nation's future on our own, so we planned a summit of sorts. We even invited the Ananta and the Kakaran to participate.
Alamigo stands at a crossroads, and this meeting will decide which path it takes. The matter of Fordola's sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt proceedings.
And let's execute her and be done with it. She herself asked to be put to death. Nago, I would explain why you wouldn't do that. Sending her to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would it end? She would round up everyone who collaborated, and everyone who didn't resist. There would be no one left, and we'd be no better than Theodoric and Xenos.
Beg your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Fordola? Only caught a glimpse of her past, a moment of it anyway, during the fight. She's done terrible things, forgivable things, unforgivable things. But in some ways, she's a victim of the circumstances in which she was born, and that's something I can understand.
Alright, speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come and join you. I want to talk to her too.
I'll return to my other duties then. We've barely begun to investigate the facility where they gave Fordola her powers. Be fairly warned, friends. She will test you. Don't let your emotions color your judgment when she does.
So, Fordola, I think, is called Resonant now. Xenos basically commissioned the, I guess the sapping of magic power from different people to empower their own forces. So that's what they're referring to.
Give you the commander's permission to enter then.
So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men! And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Yeah, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Fadola. I see you for what you are.
Fadola, we mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right! Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Alamigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
What did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who'd gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please! You have to do something! My husband and daughter are in danger!
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of army.
We're citizens! We have rights!
I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive.
Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fadola, please! You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods! What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honoring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes, wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay! You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why? Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
It's pretty optimistic music after all that. I don't know that we solved anything exactly. We've given Fordola something to think about at least. Aye, and I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Faedwin, but the vision will come to me every now and then. And the way Fordola kept wincing, though, I get the feeling she's having them almost all the time. It's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between one who is born with the Echo and one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring that research facility ever since the Liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Din's there overseeing the investigation. Let's go and pay him a visit, shall we? General Din is inside, aye. We'll be joining him. Oh, it's not a cutscene. Sheesh. This looks like it could have been or will be a problem. These are all resonant. Or resonant tanks. How do I know if they're filled?
What news? You spoke with Fordola, I take it.
Yes, as expected she didn't say very much, but it wasn't a total waste of time. Arnval noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might be having visions almost constantly, which is not how the Echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different for her?
We've been hard-pressed just to organize the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the Scion's expert assistance if you have the time to lend a hand.
Lend a hand. It's Raban. He's missing an arm. So many bodies. Every one of them a victim of these experiments. Few show any signs of external injury, but we've been able to determine they perished from forcible ether extraction. Such a miserable way to die. Oh, I didn't catch that these are body bags. Oh, now we get to peek into the Magitech pod. Just what I wanted to do. Genova? Takes a while to climb up there, I guess. The device in which Cryo is held seems even more ominous now that you know its purpose. The surrounding pods are marked Supply Subject, while this one bears the label Master Subject. The Ironworks received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices. I've been recording everything of interest. Did you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the ether of the occupant. Save that one right there. Unlike the others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you.
I know little and less of science, so any light you can shed on this facility's operations would be much appreciated. Faedwin, shall we start with you?
Taken in combination with the testimonies of Kryl and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailing infusing a single candidate with ether siphoned from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Kryl, the patterns of her etheric activity would provide the model upon which they would artificially engineer the candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to recreate Kyle's echo. I believe so, which would explain our prisoner's present state. Kryl is possessed of an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems probable that procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. Soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. And there's a sentry at a door night and day, which can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past.
You don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain. Imagine what it would do to you. You'd never be the same again.
Indeed, as you may recall, Isaiah was completely transformed by a single glimpse of her Esvelgar's past. Fordola has been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed.
Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. If the results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlemald, there will be naught to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of the gods' forsaken procedures, and Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish. Not yet.
Right.
Keep faith, lass. If you're to convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but not if it's feigned.
I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. I go looking for answers about the Echo and end up getting schooled by Raban. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me.
General Aldin is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience.
I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority, and how much I still have to learn. I wonder what he'll do when everything here is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. After going to the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay? 'Tis a quandary which countless refugees now face. To continue the life they built in Uldar, or start again in the land of their birth. Fade a moment. I am newly returned from Uldar with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. An audience with the Sultana. Depending on the nation of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those, Alphino. Not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of them, Fadewind. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasures to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Arnold?
I'm at your beck and call.
And I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down to the ruins, and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send Nanamo my regards, Fadewind.
And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. You're expected, my lady. Please proceed.
answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy. The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future. All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. I did it! Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a Sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure? Wonderful. Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
What do you think of Lilira, the merchant's daughter? This is the disguise I don when I wish to leave the palace and observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papashan would accompany me, but for this particular outing I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. With the course of your many adventures, you have met people from all walks of life, in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nod. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanalan's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hands of Nod himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor have grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Yes, my authority is limited, and that is an obstacle I must work to overcome. Shall I press on, or follow the road to the unholy air? It was here in this wholly unremarkable place that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanalan when an untimely rockslide crushed their carriage. To this day it is not as certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Rauban once offered to reopen the investigation, bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the monitors, we would only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power, and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the Monitor's damnable games. Forgive me my outburst. You are one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years I simply signed where I was told to sign, and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter of my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raban. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, but demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raban to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raban had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raban is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting in the Bloodsands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the syndicate. And then I had my blade.
You mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Sham. Raban!
Your Grace, I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah, and so, as tradition dictates, Rauben Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last. Long live the Sultana, and long live Ul'dah!
Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn my bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raban, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. To the Arzaneth ossuary. Damn, this is just like a... When the calamity threatened, Raban led the Alliance forces into battle in the plains of Cartano, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louisoix would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as a champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be a Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path, Fridwin. With Ala Mhigo now freed from Imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin the long trek home. To facilitate that process, I have made a small contribution, an artisan school in Rogger's Reach for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it would take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive, and this time the Ul'dah Treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the Syndicate, and he is one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Mandeville? Ah, well, he is a most generous man, if something of an eccentric. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad to receive us. I heard that Mandervillian stuff is really fun, but I haven't. Begun it. Make sure you use that gift card for Home Depot, you use your code. Is there a 10% off code? I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Mandeville. Shall we sit while we wait his coming?
My apologies. Your Grace, I have kept you waiting.
No apologies are necessary, Godbert. Our request is sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice.
When the Sultana herself comes calling, there's no more important engagement.
As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Thanalan. You are aware, I am sure, of many of Ala Mhigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland. And you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might be best distributed?
The unusual circumstances of our meeting, and your Grace's choice of companion, will suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is, stop. Taxing Ul'dah's wealth to save Ala Mhigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea.
You oppose my proposition?
Most emphatically. I agree with your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment. What profit is there for Ul'dah in this arrangement?
Profit? After all you have done for Garibani's displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from their misfortune.
Forgive me, your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born of pity. Your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely on it, to expect it. And then we must consider Ul'dah's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Ala Mhigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your Grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill?
Indeed. Then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people of Ul'dah.
Exactly so. Such an arrangement will require
will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamegans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You've given me much to ponder, Lord Mandeville. I thank you for your candor. Doesn't dude look kind of like Colonel Sanders? Muffet. The thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Fabian, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempted philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Ordinarily I would not trust any agent of the East Aldenar Trading Company. But if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the Aetheryte in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Faedwin, and a swift one if you please. Can no one help her out with... Faedwin, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? I beg your pardon. Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah? My dear Faedwin, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure. And I am flattered that you came to me, truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have been the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lodorito, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his guard-robe with gold. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Scion's former headquarters in Thanalan. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Faedwin. It's my name! And may your dealings prove fruitful. Welcome back, Faedwin. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? With Lodorito? And you agreed to this? I am well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I hope to keep the Monitor at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Very well, we'll meet with Lodorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. Lodorito. Is that the one that poisoned her, or that's the one that saved her? I forget. That was like a year ago. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I've heard many tales, but never the occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near. I will gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though... You have made your point. 'Tis indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I am glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lodorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say, I'm most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Uldar and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Huh, I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identify the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
Yes, if a stable trade route can be established between Uldar and Alamigo, then Alagiri would once more become an important waypoint. But while such growth would greatly benefit its current residents, I'm afraid it could sustain little beyond that. Yes, a quarry town certainly does carry the potential for profit. At least it would do were it situated anywhere near a lucrative market. It would cost more to transport the materials than they are worth, in my humble opinion. Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Saltery and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
Jonathan says, do you want to hear something extremely stupid but funny? Sure. What's something extremely stupid but funny? I fear it will be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations, but I shall not complain. We have piqued Lolorito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, FFXIV. I could not have done without you. Better was still deadish. Okay, yeah, rah, get back in bed. Love you, bye. Nanamo's ready to move ahead with her plans. Our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, FFXIV, I would ask that you convey the details to our negotiations to Commander Hex when you return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Ul'dah both. Yeah, saving all the people. Babe, when you're back. What did Nanamo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So, Raban says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure she wants to. He wants to. Tell us something we don't know. I'm pleased to hear he's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Saltery does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lolorito's help is another question. After all that has happened, he is the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, at least, assuming the interim government elects to accept Ul'dah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Alamigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. We have a fortune at our disposal, after all, and allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lolorito too much control. Honestly, Alphino, it's like Kagane never happened. What exactly does a ruthless privateer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though, we need to discuss this proposal with the Saltery's residents. Whisker, how do you fancy explaining the Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Watt thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything.
Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, FFXIV? I might need you to fill in the details.
Then I shall come as well. Should Watt wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful.
What manner of mischief brings you young'uns to old Watt this time, eh? They want to rebuild the Saltery, Granddad. They wouldn't tell him about the deal. Oh, bugger me. We've never had the coin in the hands to put the place back to how it was, but it sounds like that's about to change. There's one small wrinkle in your plan. Doesn't account for all the Nazis queuing up to get anyone who goes near the shore. The king used to send soldiers to cull the buggers. The Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Granddad, we'll take care of all that. Commander Hex has been talking about starting up regular patrols, and I'm sure she'd assign me to the lock fast. I appreciate that, Wesker, my lad, truly would. Does this mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, aye, but mostly to kill Imperials. You got some experience hunting monsters, don't you, FFXIV? Think you can cast an eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them? Let's not waste any time, then. See you by the lock. Whilst you're busy attending the local fauna... Oh, sorry. Whilst you're busy attending the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the Saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. He just has to make his presence known. He can't help it. Right then, FFXIV. We've got a spyglass here you can use to take a close look at the pests. Once you got their measure, you can tell them what to do, and we'll see how well I get on. Search your surroundings for yabbies. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a yabby and inspect it with... Okay, maybe something changes with the cursor if I mouse over something. The jaw. It does. Immediately. Immediately. Spend so much time focusing the butt.
Yabby's entire body is protected by a hard carapace, but the underside of the head looks soft and vulnerable. Oh, looks like you found a Yabby. They say hitting their shells like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? Falling to run to the head, are they? Right then. Wish me luck. Thanks, Faywin. I did just as you told me. The wave went down like a sack of popatoes. Let's find something else. Oh, okay then. Oh, I can't fly. Luminare. Alright, what are we peeking at this time? Surely not the lightning sprite. I think I can handle the Yabbies now, so we should try to find something different. What else is out there? Search your surroundings for feebads. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a feebad and expect it. Inspect. Let's check everything. Everything. Checked the meatball. Is it the eyes? We know how to do it. Yeah! I'm sure this will play a huge role in Dawn Trail. Feebad's hands are large and powerful, but destroying its crystallized core should render the salt golem inanimate. You sense power pulsating from behind its brow. Feebad. How do I defeat one of those? I love the wrong option. It's just hit it hard! Inside its head, is it? I'll try to stab it right between the eyes then. So if there's a third one, we should definitely tell him to, like, just hit it really, really hard, right? And see what happens. It's not easy, fighting with the Liberator of Alamigo, watching your every move. But I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Fabian. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Anyway, we should head back to Saltery before Granddad starts to worry I've been snipped into pieces and fed to Yabby's hatchlings. Man, I should have told him, just hit it hard. Use the force, Luke. Use the force. Couldn't teleport. What am I seeing over there? That Porta Praetoria. Alright, Watts. I see you returned in one piece. Killed those beasties then, did you? Ah, I fought them myself. After a bit of instruction from Fablin here, like. Wants to share what I learned with the others. We should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. Fine young man you become, Whisker. Fine young man indeed. Too often lately I hear tales of folk over in the city drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. We need to set our sights on the future. On things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. It seems that Whisker had the Saltery security well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. With little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings.
Messer from General Dan. Apologies for the interruption, miss. The General would speak with you at your earliest convenience.
Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I will remain here to ham out the finer details with Watt, and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Ul'dah. You should go.
General Dan asked that you wait for him by the main gate in Alamein Quarter. My apologies again, miss. Very well.
Ba-ba-da, ba-da, ram. Alamein Quarter.
Oh, hold on, we gotta pet the dog.
Can you pet her now?
Yeah. Alright. You can't not pet the dog.
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Unveiled and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal. Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the Resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men? Hear, hear. There is no more fitting sentence for the perpetrators of such a massacre, and that is but one of their crimes. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard.
Did I just mess up? Are there actually going to be consequences to what I choose at this point in the game?
Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me. I bear a share of the blame for Ilberd's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
That took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled, Unveiled, what news?
I may have a problem, sir. Group of Ananta is right at the main gates, and I don't mean the Vera. These are Kalyana, the ones that summoned the Primal. Insisted they be allowed to attend the council. Lisa's trying to reason with them, but she may need help. An invitation was extended to all the native beast tribes. We assumed the Kalyana would refuse it out of hand.
We'd best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Faywin, you've dealt with these Kalyana before. I'd have you at my side.
Faywin, Raban! God, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. We have not forgotten how you sinned against Lady Bliss, but we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Girabania home. If this is truly your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome. We cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you want to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will all be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you ask, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish as to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's as close as we're going to get to a compromise. And we will have people standing guard.
Aye, let them keep their swords.
Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber.
Why do I have the feeling we've welcomed a viper into our midst? This Kalyana elder's intentions seem at odds with all we know of our tribe. What think you? You believe an understanding can be reached. 'Tis not entirely unheard of, I suppose. Those who followed Saint Shiva eventually sought reconciliation with Ishgard. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The god must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the Scions?
I've rounded up my comrades and sent them to the Elamine Quarter. You can go on ahead if you like.
My thanks. I will see you in the palace.
Fabian have brought reinforcements. Unveiled told me of the arrival of our unexpected guests, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Ishtola and Thancred as well.
One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled.
I'm not familiar with the Kalyana tribe myself. Alzay's reporting suggested that we shunned contact with other races. Despised it, in fact, even compared to other Nanta. Indeed, the apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy, and I imagine Lise was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves?
If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, it would seem wise to have eyes both inside and outside the palace.
Stola and I can stand guard without. It leaves the three of you to keep watch over the proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Aldin inside then. Faywin, do you know the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city at the top of the stairs. Guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. We're gonna have to run. Are you kidding me? Whoever designed this place. Through the silence, miss? You're out and left orders you be escorted inside. Follow me.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lise Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle. As equals, and I hope, as friends.
Expertly done. Lise has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenford. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kalyana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
The Ananta. wish only that those who dwell within Gia Abania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi! Lady of Bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
Uh-oh. Well, that's not good.
This can't be happening. No crystals were allowed through the door.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Wow, that look I gave, like, I got this shit.
God damn it! The guards were already turned! Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kalyana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvold to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
All right, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, she'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
Dude, if Alphino doesn't stop flexing his opalescent carbuncle. How do we fight it without leaving our allies wide open? Can't stay on the back foot forever. Oh damn it, I think if we think like this, we're already lost. I have the Warrior of Light on my side. We could do this! Isn't that right? Use the duty action to deflect. Use duty action to deflect to dissipate the ether spheres Lakshmi releases during the battle. Be warned that allowing an ally to be enthralled by an ether sphere will result in failure. Oh. Well, how many do I have to protect? Years of Gabania, accept my love, worship my light. She needs to enthrall everyone, we have to stop her. Okay. That's how it's. Gotcha. Done a fine job of blocking our retreat. We must break through, forget the Primal and focus on the foe before you. Oh wait, is he straight up attacking the ether? I guess if I could do it, he could do it. Oh well, that was over. Don't attack the Primal. Right. They kind of told me that, didn't they? so I guess we just stop the circle from... Stop the ether from reaching here. It's like asteroids, or Space Invaders. Dude, that's what I was focused on. Okay. So if I actually aim in this direction from back here, makes more sense. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Sheesh. Oh no! No! Damn it. My neck was itching, that wasn't fair. Alright. We haven't had to scale anything down to very easy yet, so... Let's try not to... start. I assume we just have to kill all these, yeah? And then... that's it.
Wow, I offer you peace and serenity.
Gotta deflect. We know it's an AoE now. We're learning. We're learning. So catch them when they converge. There are so many.
I shall free you from your hate.
Oh, dude, for real. Oh, did I do it? Thought I failed.
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Oh, your hit points were so low for a second. Wait, am I supposed to be saving these guys? We'll need to lock her down. Oh, I'm trapped.
Let me stand and fight together. Alf know the envoys when you're care.
Surely you do not mean to. Very well, I shall see our guest to safety. They forsake eternal bliss? Yeah? Sorry for Dola. I can't deal with that right now. Just going after Luz. Oh, active time maneuver. Ah! Ready? Tap a button to break free. Oh, and I gotta break these orbs? Oh no. Oh no. This is awful. Oh, is she helping? Good. I could use the help. Whoa, 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 how'd you get out? Alright.
Do not your souls weigh heavy?
Anyone got a limit break? Oh, that looks like a limit break. Here. Armball, we're close, bud. We're close. Oh, no one's gonna heal me, okay. We gotta get that DPS up a bit. More dots. More dots. trying. I'm trying to kill her. I'm trying real hard.
We did it! We beat...
What is this?
I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
Seven hells. It's her, the Butcher.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you. For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Wow. Well, fortfarande, Unveiled. That was a near thing.
Aye, our standing as a Kalyana would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely as our sentries were. They must have planned this far in advance.
Security was my responsibility. I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... That's my fault. My stupid mistake.
Nay, alas, we were all caught unawares. We will take this as a lesson and watch our own more carefully in the future. You can be sure the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldier who first spoke up in favor of the Kulyana keeping their weapons brings to mind. A primal servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Lakshmi's influence.
Thanks, Ishtola. We appreciate the help.
Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fordola turned up. What's she even doing there?
I asked her to come.
Well, that explains it then.
It's sad, but Ragnfrey was right. The victims will never forgive her for what she's done. I don't think Fordola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She wanted to fight for her country. If you say the world in which Fordola grew up is partly to blame for what she became, then as an Alamigan I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance. We risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people to let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face, if that's what it takes. It's a long and arduous path you have chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Afano. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They're a little shaken, but not one of them seemed ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started.
I will see to it you're not interrupted. Fade when you and the Scions are to stand down. Get some rest. You've earned it.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people. It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave. Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Rabon Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
But, Your Grace...
Rabon, I am no longer a child.
Where is this going?
Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies. So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
Nanamo.
Smile for me, Raubon. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Uldar.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
That was sweet.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow. No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Be at ease, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest. But I must yield the floor to Raubon. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
would seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
You may be getting on in years, Father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Yes, the Bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Jeez.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor. And you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Raoban.
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised. Either you're more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
Wonder what button that was. I think it's about time I head back to Raggar's Reach. What's next for all of you? Alize will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you if you have no objections. I welcome the company. Faye and White should come along to the Reach as well once you said your farewells to Nanamo and the others. Upon completion of this quest, you'll be able to access the palace's rooftop gardens by speaking to the royal menagerie attendant. Alright, so let's talk to Lise to turn in this quest. Do we think this is voice acted? That's a big fat nope. But here we are again! Alphino has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, and joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds with Thenkard and Stola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have our Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we need to keep a closer eye on the Kayada. You could say that again. The whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kinds still are. It looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away in a day, but someone has to make an effort at reconciliation if these conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi was the Broodmother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be putting the safety of our allies and the Vera and M tribes first. I plan to have resistance scouts keep track of the Kayana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the resistance army out of interest? Are we to prepare for Imperial counterattacks? That will be the question for the Resistance's newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me. What? The Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance is really a collection of smaller independent groups, and when Conrad passes command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based in Raggar's Reach. He just happened to be serving as a Resistance spokesman at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray. But that time has passed. When I speak with other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Raban as the overall commander of our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he is in all respects the ideal choice. Assuming he accepts the post, Alamigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The seeds which we so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises, and watch as Alamigo blooms. A dress-up Raban? Detachable arm optional? Wow.
I do give thanks to the Kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But there our generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in a city of rich merchants.
These dango are delicious. Will you have one?
More sweetbreads. I surrendered my blade to secure what few coins we have. Bah, 'tis like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know. But I am alive, and I must return to my master's side. Come, Suju. We shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea.
Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace.
Have you read the reports? First Doma, then Alamigo, and Lord Xenos put to the sword.
Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded, and that he has already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head regardless.
Hey, Lord Xenos lives?
Deplorable. That our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official, and above all, accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors.
They will wage war with empty words. Let them produce the Viceroy's remains then. We shall soon put the lie to their claims.